Hello students and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to learn about how to remove the weeds, right? Or how we can protect our crops from the weeds, as well as whatever the mature crop is there, that how can we harvest, cut, right? And once we take the yield, harvest the crop, how we can store it. So these 3 points today we are going to discuss in this part. See here, today's part 5, protection from weeds. How we can protect the crop from the weeds. So for that, first you should know what is mean by weed. So weeds are nothing but undesirable plants, the plants which we don't want, right? Because crop means what? The same kind of plants whichever planted on a same piece of land, right? That is called as a crop. So wheat crop is there, rice paddy crop is there, or any jawar crop, bajra crop, means one big land piece will be there. On that all the plants will be of rice, or all the plants will be of jawar in jawar crop, right? But suppose in the jawar crop some of the plants of bajra has come, right? Or some of the plants of paddy has come. Can you call it as a crop? No, we can't consider the bajra or rice plants, few plants in the field of jawar. Can't we say them as a crop? Even though we are using them as a crop plants, we are using them for eating, then also we can consider them as a weed, because in that jawar's field, jawar's crop, we want only jawar plants, right? No any other plant. So other than jawar plant, whichever will grow and which is not required for us, that all plant is considered as a weed. So that every plant which we don't want in that field, that need to be removed, right? So see here, weed is nothing but any undesirable plant is there with the main crop, whatever the main crop is there, along with that any unwanted plant is there which is compete with the main crop for its basic needs of water, nutrients, space and light. So these all such plants are considered as a weed, right? Then when we remove these weeds, then this removal of weed is called as a weeding. So weeding is a process of removing weeds from the field. See the next picture. This is known as a sickle, right? This sickle is generally used to remove the weeds from the field. Now there are some of the methods which generally farmers use to remove the weeds. So these are different methods of weeding. So first method is biological method. Now in that example is given cassia plant against Parthenium weed and herbivorous species in a paddy plant. Means what here? The any biological method means here we are not using any chemical, right? Here to control one living organism, another living organism is used. With the example it will be clear. See here. So Parthenium is a name of a plant, or this is also known as a gajar grass, right? So this grass is a weed, right? So to control this weed, we can use a cassia plant. So if the cassia plant is there, this cassia plant automatically control this Parthenium weed. So this is called as one plant is controlled by another plant without use of chemicals or without use of any kind of tool. So this is called as a biological method. Second example is given of herbivorous fish, right? In paddy field. Paddy field means rice field, and you know that the rice field is waterlogged field. More amount of water is there in the paddy field. So automatically you can culture fish in that. So these fish will automatically eat whatever the weeds will grow in the paddy field, it will be eaten as a food by this fish, herbivorous fish. So automatically the weeds will be controlled. So here also one of the weed plant, that is the living organism, is controlled by another living organism, that is a fish. So this is what a biological method. One living organism is controlled by another living organism. For example, one more example I will give you, so you will better understand. Suppose there are so many mouse in your house. How can you control? Some may use the trap, right? Some may use the chemicals, but very simple way, you just bring one cat in your house. Next day all the mouse will be run away, right? Means one cat can control all the mice in your house. So this is what it is called as a biological control. Same it is used here to control the weeds. Next method is a chemical method. So the name indicates that to control the weed we are using some of the chemicals. Now which chemicals are used to control the weeds? This is the first example, 2,4-D. Right, so this is used to kill the weeds. Next is nitrofen and next one is atrazine. These are used by the farmer to spray in the field, right, and to kill the weeds. 2,4-D is actually banned, then also somewhere it is used. So these chemicals are used to kill the weeds. By using the chemicals, whenever we kill the weeds, destroy the weeds, then that is called as a chemical method to weedicide, right? Next is that cultural method, right? Now the cultural method means what? You have to utilize some of the methods which can control the weed automatically. See here some of the examples are there: crop rotation, mixed cropping and intercropping, right? Now crop rotation already we have seen, right? So one crop you take, then next year the second crop, and the third year once again you can take the first crop, right? Or 1, 2, 3 crops you can take 3 years, and fourth year again the first crop will be there. So whenever there is a cycle of crops, right, in a sequence, then that is called as a crop rotation. So this method is again somewhere useful to control the weeds. Second method is said that the mixed cropping. Mixed cropping means what? In a one piece of land, already I said crop definition, you can take a one kind of crop. But in a mixed cropping, on the same piece of land, you can take 2 yields, 2 crops, right? So this is called as a mixed cropping. Suppose one of the crop is there of a wheat, right? Then second crop you can take as a jawar or bajra or corn, right? So these crops you can take parallel with each other. Due to this mixed cropping, whatever the weeds are there, they will not get space to grow there, right? Because some of the area is covered by the first crop and another line of the first crop will be there. In between these two lines, the second crop will be occupy the space. So the weeds growth will be maintained, reduced, and weed will be controlled. Next method it is said that intercropping. Intercropping is again say nothing but the same as like the mixed cropping. In intercropping, the in between the crops line another crops will be added. Here the pattern is there. 2 lines of main crops, then next 1 line is of another crop, then again 2 lines of the main crop. So in this way intercropping is takes place. Or another example I will give. Suppose if you have a grape vines, right? Your field contains grape vines. So that is just vines. So they will just grow above, right? And whatever the below space is there, in that you can take a crop of groundnut. So in the same piece of land on the same soil, you are taking at a time 2 crops in between each other. So this is what it is called as a intercropping. Another example in Konkan, you know that coconut trees are there, big coconut trees, and the farmer has more time to get the yield from the coconut trees. So in that case, in the shade of the coconut trees, they are also growing peppers, right? So black pepper is there, it will be grown on the coconut tree. So this is what it is called as a intercropping. So this will helps to control the weeds. Next method is given here, that is the mechanical method. Mechanical method means manually we do something to remove the weeds, to destroy the weeds. Here the examples are given. Ploughing, we have seen in the ploughing what is mean by ploughing, how it is done. So whenever we will do a ploughing, that time the weeds will be uprooted, automatically removed. Then flooding and burning. Here the flooding and burning is that they will be completely destroy the weeds. You have to just collect them and burn, and in the flooding just waterlog them, they will automatically get die. So these are different methods to destroy the weeds, to control the weeds, or to kill the weeds, right? So whenever anything which is used to kill the weed, then that is called as weedicide, right? Some of the chemicals which used to kill the weed are known as weedicide. Some of the chemicals which used to kill the pest is called as pesticides. If the chemicals are used to kill the fungus, then it is called as a fungicides. So by this you can understand that sides means killing. So whichever the chemical used to kill pest, insects, or weeds or fungus, that word will be attached with that sides. So fungicides, weedicides, insecticides, right? So this is how these words are formed. Like that, the weeds which kill by the chemicals, these chemicals are known as the weedicides. See the next slide. This slide shows you how the chemicals are sprayed in the field to kill the weeds. This is another method which used to kill the weeds. Next point is harvesting. Now what is mean by harvesting? Harvesting is nothing but cutting of a crop. Whenever the crop is matured, right, your yield has come. The full year the farmer has done a lot of things to grow this crop and get the yield. Now the yield is ready, right? Crop is matured. Now it's time to harvest and get the yield. So this is the next point, that is the harvesting. Cutting of a crop after its maturation is known as harvesting. You have to cut the crop and collect the yield whenever it is mature, right? Next, done by sickle. How it is done? Done by sickle. Just now I have shown you the picture of a sickle. So by using the sickle, the crop is get harvested, cut. Or if sickle is not there, then machine is used, and that machine is called as a harvester. I will show you the picture of the harvester. So machine which is used to cut the crop or harvest the crop is known as the harvester. So there is one more machine which is used to cut the crop as well as clean it. That is combine is there, right? So there is one more process, threshing. In this process, grains are separated from the chaff. Chaff means what? Whatever the dirt is there, unwanted material is there, plant part is there, that is called as a chaff. And these grains means our yield. So this dirt or unwanted material is removed and only grains will be separated. That process of cleaning of grains from the chaff is called as a threshing. Now harvesting you know, threshing you know. Now threshing is carried out by the combine. So this combine is there, it do both function. It will be done the function of as an harvester as well as a thresher. Means it will be at the same time cut your crop as well as it will be clean your yield and the pure grains will be collected. I will show you the pictures. See here, this is a picture of a sickle which is used to cut crops manually, right, by hand. This is a machine. Machine is known as a harvester. Here the crop will be harvested, cut, and with this machine the chaff or dirt is get removed separately. This is a combine. You can see here, this is a very big machine which is used. This is a crop plants, right? So this is automatically, you can see back side it is already cut. So this machine is cutting this crop, right? Even it is cleaning, and all the pure grains it is collecting over here. So here both the functions are done. Cutting of the crop is also done and threshing process is also done. Cleaning of the grains is done. So as it is doing both the functions together, it is known as a combine, right? Now one more traditional method is there of cleaning grains, that is known as the winnowing, right? Winnowing, it is depend on the wind, right? So how it is done? Suppose if you have the grains which contains chaff as well as the grains, then you have to just throw it down from a particular height. So because of that, a thin layer of that grain and chaff, whenever it comes down, that time because of the wind, this chaff is light in weight, right? So it will be carried away with the wind and thrown away at a long distance, little bit away from the grain. Grains are heavy, right? Because it is fully filled with the food material. So they will just fall down, right? So there will be one heap of grains, and very close to that one more heap will be formed of a dirty material, unwanted material, that is called as a chaff. So this is called as a winnowing. So by this winnowing also you can clean the grains. This is a machine. This is called as a winnowing machine. So this machine is also used to do a winnowing. Winnowing is simple process where you can clean the grain. From here it will be added. Here this will be a outlet from which you will get the grains, and one more outlet will be that side from where chaff will be come out. Next point is the storage. Whatever now the grains we have collected from the crop plants, that we need to store. So very important stage is there, because full year the farmer has worked very hard and got the yield, right? Now it need to be stored properly, otherwise full year's work will be in vain, no use of there. So that's why this storage is again very important step in agricultural practices. See, after threshing, grains are dried in sun and then packed. Now why there is need to dry? Because if the grains contain moisture in it in more amount, definitely fungus, bacteria will attack on it and it will get destroyed. That's why the more moisture is reduced from the grains, right? And particular amount of moisture is maintained into the grain. That is 12 to 14% moisture is maintained. That's why as soon as you collect the grains from the farm, you have to dry this very nicely in sunlight for 3 to 4 days. And after proper drying, these grains you can store. So this is the first very important step. Before storage, you need to dry the seeds. Next, farmers store food grains in jute bag or metallic bins. These are the two storages. Either the farmer can store the seeds in jute bags, right? Or in metallic bins are there. Whenever these grains are stored in a large scale, right, then this is done in silos or granaries. I will show you the picture of these silos. Again, a very big storage of the grain is there, and these granaries are there. They are also very big, or it is also stored in a godowns, right? Now, whenever you are storing the grains, in a godowns. Godowns means a very big hall will be there, and where the grains are tied into jute bags and stored, right? So for that also you need to take care that whatever your storehouse is there, it should be spacious, aeration should be there, hygienic conditions should be maintained, right? And whatever the rats are there or any insects are there, it should not be allowed. So whatever the required process is there to keep them away or to kill them, right? And keep your space safe from these all things need to be done. Then and then only you can store your grains in a godown. Now, last point is there, at domestic level dried neem leaves are also added. Yes, dried neem leaves. You know that neem leaves has a very important property. They are insect repellent, right? In neem leaves there is a chemical which keep away the insects. So generally in villages also farmers are there, whenever they have to store the grains, right, rice, jawar, bajra for 1 or 2 years, then they are adding neem leaves in that, right, dried neem leaves. So because of that these grains will be free from insect attack, right? Because these neem leaves are insect repellent. Very simple method. Mix the dried neem leaves with the grains and store them, right? So this is the last point. This is what you have to take care whenever you are storing the grains. See, this is the picture of silos. Very big metallic beams are there, right? And inside that if you will see a very big structure where large amount of grain is kept. So this is known as the silo. See here, there are some of the factors which are responsible for the grain loss. Now which are these factors? These factors are classified into 2 categories. One is biotic factors and second is abiotic factor. Bio means living. The factors which are living. So these living factors are there. They are destroying the grains, or grain loss will be occurs because of these living organisms. Which are these? Insects, rodents, birds and mites. So they are destroying the grains. So whenever we will store our grains in any of the area, right, either it will be silos, granaries or jute bags, right, or godowns, anywhere, then care need to be taken that these factors should not affect your stored grains. Next factor is given that abiotic factor. Abiotic means absence of life, that is non-living. Non-living factors. Now which are the non-living factors are given here? First is temperature, next is moisture, then humidity and material for container. Material for container means in which material you have kept your grain. First is the temperature, right? If the high temperature is there, right, more temperature is there and grains are already dried, then their moisture will be again loose. They will lose their germination capacity, right? If the temperature is low, right, then it is moist, then the fungus will attack on it, right? So in both cases the grains will be damaged. So appropriate temperature need to be maintained. Second one is given moisture. I already said that for proper germination of the seeds and for storing the seeds for long time, 12 to 14% moisture is needed in the seed. Less than that will damage the seed, right? And more than that will fungus attack will be there on the seed. So appropriate amount of moisture should be there in the seed. Next point is given humidity. If the more humid condition is there in the storage out, then definitely fungal attack will be there and all the grains will be damaged. So humidity should be at a particular level. Last I said material of a container, in which material it is contained, right? So based on that also the grains, either it will be long lasted or damaged, it is depend. So for proper storage and for long lasting storage, you need to store in good hygienic, aerated and insect free conditions, right? So this is what about the storage. See, measures to prevent the grain loss. How can you prevent the grain loss? So these are some of the methods how with that we can prevent the grain loss. First is drying before storage. Already we have seen, right? 3-4 days we have to dry in sunlight and then store. Maintenance of a hygienic condition. Before storage, the godown or wherever we are going to store, their hygienic conditions need to be maintained. Plant product treatment is there that should be given. For example, dried neem leaf. Prophylactic treatment is given, right? And improved storage structure is there. So these measures if we will do, then definitely grain loss will be less. The last point is there, food from animals. There are different animals from which we are getting a food, right? Like eggs we are getting, milk we are getting, meat we are getting, right? So for meat, milk, eggs, various sources are there. So these different types of foods we are getting from the animals. Even one more, honey is there that we get from the honeybees, right? So this is what it is called as a food from animals. And whenever we culture animals to get this yield or food yield from the animals, then that is called as a animal husbandry. Whenever we are doing the animal husbandry, then we need to care for the animals. We have to grow them properly. Proper care should be taken, provided them hygienic conditions, keep them disease free and take more and more yield from them, right? Even whenever we are growing some of the species of these animals, then we have to select the species which are giving more yield to us. See here, animal husbandry, science which deals with the scientific management of the animals. Scientific management means I said that how you are growing them, whatever the food you are providing them, how you are treating them, right? Then disease, how you are keeping them disease free. All these are there. If whenever it is done with the scientific method, then this all will come under animal husbandry. And this includes breeding, how you are reproducing them, feeding, kind of food you are giving them, and heeding, how you are taking care of them. So this is what the animal husbandry. By animal husbandry we are getting different types of food from the animals. Just now we have seen that the different types of the food which we get from the animals, and the full chapter we have studied about the crop management, right? Means the majority food which we get from the crops. So what are the different practices we have to do to get a good yield from the crops? From the preparation of the soil, sowing of the seeds till the storage, right? So all these points are very, very important. Here your chapter is finished. Go through the textbook, right? I have highlighted important points that you go through, read it, try to understand it, make your notes by using that highlighted points. Even whatever extra points I said in the video, that also you add in your notes, right? Make a notes of that and just send me the pics of that notes. Again, one more thing, that video, I see that all of you are not watching the videos. So please watch these videos, because this is not going to be repeat in the class. Then whatever the things you want to see in the videos, extra points whichever I have given, pictures I have given, that you will able to see very nicely with the help of computer. If you are not comfortable with the phone, use computer to see it very clearly. The points which you did not understand, mention that that I have doubt in this point. So whenever we will conduct our class, that time we will discuss on this point and doubts will be clear. Otherwise just say that I don't have any doubt or no doubt is there and give thank you. So I could get the confirmation that you have seen the video. Please see the video, and most important, all of you have to subscribe the channel, right? If you subscribe the channel, whenever I will upload the video, you will get that video immediately, right? So this is a clear cut request is there that all of you have to subscribe the channel to get the video immediately, right? And prepare this chapter very well. Any doubt is there, then feel free to ask. All the best.